Well, good morning. Welcome to the United Church of Strafford, Vermont on this second Sunday after Pentecost and Story Sunday. It is a joy to be here together, both in person and online. We acknowledge that we are on the ancestral and unceded land of the traditional caretakers, the Western Abenaki or Wabanaki people. Our congregation has voted to establish a reparations fund for the hardships that they have had to endure from colonial times to this day. And we give thanks for the opportunity to share in the bounty of this place, which we are so aware of right now. It's so beautiful. And to protect it in the spirit of Indigenous wisdom, which sees all life and the land itself as gifts of the Spirit. The Bible quote in the bulletin this week begins, "There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit gives them." Later in that same chapter in the Bible, it says that one of the most important gifts and roles that the Spirit gives is being a teacher. I saw a cartoon years ago that showed the cars that people would drive if they were paid what they are really worth. And it had a professional football player squeezing into this little tiny, the smallest, cheapest car. And then it had a teacher driving in a $1 million Rolls-Royce limousine. The Bible gets that. The Bible recognizes teachers as being that worthy of earning the big bucks of our love and appreciation. This congregation has been blessed over the years with the presence of many teachers, wonderful teachers, and some of them are here now. And we have 4 teachers to thank for their involvement in this service. And 5 really, if we count Kate, because Kate has a role too. So, but Rachel and Danette and Joey are teaching us today, and we are thanking Denise Cote, who is leaving her position as a Newton School teacher and member of this church and our choir, and moving to a new chapter in her life. And we have special yummy refreshments and an incredible cake that you should look at before it's cut, because it's a work of art, to honor Denise after the service. And for now, I want to say how much the gifts that the Spirit has given you have meant to me, Denise. I remember even where we were standing when I first met you, right here, and just noticing the light of your spirit from that very first time. And then afterwards, as you sang and you spoke in worship and in church meetings, I really grew to look forward to your light and your voice more and more. And your passion for teaching and for justice and inclusion, your deep, deep care for your students that was so evident, especially during COVID time. Your sense of humor and your grin and your laugh and your great-hearted love. We have been so blessed to be part of your community, and you will always be a treasured part of us. Recently, someone opened up your choir notebook, and they found this. Which I'm surprised you hadn't framed and put on your wall, but it's your new member certificate for this church. And so I'm going to offer you this as a parting gift to remind you that you always have a home here, and we're always surrounding you with our love and our light wherever you go. So. Not all of us grow up to be teachers, But if you are growing up, it's a good thing to consider. But we all have gifts. We all have the gifts that the Spirit has given us to share. And may we share them to the benefit of our community as generously as Rachel, Danette, Joey, Denise, Kate, Francis Wilson, Ingrid and David have given us, have done. So thank you all. Please linger after the service to celebrate and to enjoy the Spirit moving through this loving community with neighborliness and friendship and yummy food and toys and playfulness and all of that in the parish hall. And those of you on Zoom, please linger after the service and I'll to visit with one another, and I will get on and visit with you as well. Please see the announcements in the bulletin. If you're online, the bulletin is, you can find the bulletin by going to the menu on the top of the welcome page of our website. Are there other announcements that need to be made today? Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning. The family of our dear Dot Burden, who passed away last November, the family would be very honored to have you join them at a graveside service for Dot, which will be on June 24th at 10 o'clock at the Strafford Cemetery. That's just to the left of the townhouse. The Reverend Deidre Ashton will be officiating at the graveside. Immediately after, there will be a reception here in the parish hall, and the family has asked that we assist them by providing some of the food for the reception and with cleanup. And if you are able to help with either the food and or the cleanup, please see me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Amber.
The Wiley family is going to need to travel a bit on weekends coming up. College visits and visiting family before it's too late. This means that we need to find help to do Zoom mastering for the church. So if you know of anyone who might work part-time and share that responsibility with Vin, please let us know. And just to add a little, incentive, it's a hugely growing career being a Zoom master. There's a company called Dark Star in northern Vermont, and that's what they do. They travel all around Vermont and provide Zoom mastering services to corporations having virtual meetings. So it's a wonderful career path for young folk to learn, and we could use some help. So let either, I guess, myself or Tom know if you have anyone who might be interested in doing that. Thanks.
Zoom master and recording engineer, because you also have the opportunity to edit videos and post them. And, yeah.
What a great title. Who doesn't want to be called Zoom master and recording engineer, right?
Exactly.
This afternoon at the Marl Homestead is open house. It's a free day of activities, refreshments. We're going to have a puppet show. So if you're still feeling like children this afternoon between 2 and 4, please come join us and take a tour of the house.
Ice cream too.
Ice cream and puppet show. What can you go wrong?
Any other announcements? Also please remember that we're taking our offering online on the welcome page of our website, or you can send donations in by mail, or in the sanctuary you can place your offering in the basket on the table in the back. The offering is another word for sharing what the Spirit and what the earth have given us. And that sharing of love and action and material support is what makes everything we do together as a church possible. all the ways we try to make the world loving and good and just. So thank you, whatever and whenever and however you give. And now Rachel will call us into the spirit of the day.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So this morning we're going to talk a little bit about gifts. Gifts that we each hold inside of us, that we spend our lives discovering and nurturing and helping each other discover and nurture. And we're going to have a little felt lesson about gifts and some songs and some stories. So I invite you to join us in our opening song. And many of you, I'm sure, are starting to know the words, so feel free to sing along. Let it go, my love, my truest love. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, and such a fine thing. We're a gathering of spirits, we're a festival of friends, and we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. I can't explain it, couldn't if I tried, how the only things we carry are things we hold inside, like a day out in the open, like a love we won't forget, like the laughter that we started and hasn't died down yet. Let it go, my love, my truest love. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, and such a fine thing. We're a gathering of spirits, we're a festival of friends, and we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. Oh yeah, didn't we? Don't we make it shine? And aren't we in the middle of something rare and fine? Some glow like the embers, some like colored glass, and some give it all in one great flame, throwing kisses as they pass. Let it go, my love, my truest love. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, and such a fine thing. We're a gathering of spirits, we're a festival of friends, and we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. Yes, we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. And so let us pick up where we left off last Story Sunday. Together, as our tradition, we spend each Sunday spending some time praying for peace. And I've been telling this story in different ways over the course of these different months of the story of the peace candle. Now, the story of the peace candle happened long, long ago, when there was a place where there was lots of war and lots of strife, where people were kind of mean to each other. They didn't listen very well to each other, and they were pretty greedy. They kept all the stuff to themselves. And still on Sunday morning, people would gather around for church and for prayer. And one Sunday, a woman came to the church with a tiny, tiny little candle. And she said, last night I had a dream. I had a dream that if we lit this candle and we spent some time really praying for peace, praying that God would change our hearts and our actions, that maybe we could make the world a better place. And so everyone came together and they lit this tiny little candle. It might have been the last candle she had left in her house. And they lit the little candle and everyone took a moment and they prayed. Let's take a moment and pray that prayer of peace. Asking God to change our hearts, our minds, our actions, our world to be a little bit kinder, a little bit better. And each person prayed really hard, and that week they went out into their lives and they were a little kinder. They were a little more generous. They shared their things. They didn't fight as much with each other. and they found that their little worlds were a little bit better. So the next Sunday they came together, and somebody else from the congregation brought a little candle, and again, they took a moment. And they prayed for peace. They prayed that God would change their hearts and their minds and their actions to make the world a little better. And again, that week they went out and their prayer became their life. Their prayer became their actions, the way that they interacted with people, and they went out and they made their world a little bit better. Well, news got around that this town wasn't so mean to each other. There wasn't so much war and strife. People were being more generous and sharing what they had. And the towns around them all asked, what is going on? And so the towns shared their story of the peace candle. And soon towns all around them were lighting a peace candle each week and praying that prayer of peace. And then more towns, and then more towns, and then this spread all around the world. And today, throughout Sunday, in each hour of the day, there is a church somewhere where there are people lighting a candle and praying for peace. So I invite you to join me today as we join all those other people in praying for peace. Please join me with the prayer in your bulletin. In Christ was life, and life was the light of the world. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. Let us take a moment to pray for peace and the things that make for peace as we light the peace candle. Praying that God will change our hearts, our minds, and our actions to bring peace into the world. Now, prayer is something that we hold in our hearts, and it's something that we live out into the world. So let us today pray with our bodies as well as with our words. So I invite you to stand, and we're going to sing. I'll teach you a very simple song for our peace song. Stand if you are able. So this is a song. It's a part of the tradition called the Dances of Universal Peace. And people from all traditions, it was started by Sufis and Christians around the world, people from all faith traditions come together in big circles and they dance. And I'm going to teach you some hand signs that we're going to use instead of dancing, but maybe someday I'll get to teach you the dance as well. So this is called Circle Round for Freedom. So we're going to have our circle. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace. Let's try that. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace. For those of us imprisoned, circle for release. For those of us imprisoned, circle for release. Circle for the planet, circle for each soul. Circle for the planet, circle for each soul. For the children of our children, keep the circle whole. For the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Let's sing it through together twice, okay? Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace. For those of us in prison, circle for release. Circle for the planet, circle for each soul. For the children of our children, the circle whole. One more time. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace. For those of us in prison, circle for release. Circle for the planet, circle for each soul. For the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Thank you, everyone. This is a story about gifts. Sometimes gifts come in sparkly packages with bows. Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, sometimes gifts just for no reason at all. Sometimes thank you gifts, sometimes I love you gifts. Gifts can also be something that we do for people. Maybe we help somebody do the dishes. Or maybe we give somebody a really, really big hug. There are many kinds of gifts. Each of us has gifts inside of us. Gifts that God has given us. These are special gifts. But they're gifts not just for ourselves, they're for everyone. There are many kinds of gifts. And the gifts that we have inside of us, we have to discover. We have to uncover what they are, and sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that takes a long time. Sometimes our community, with the people that we love, can help us. There are many kinds of gifts. This person always makes people feel at home whenever she meets them. She welcomes people with a big smile, sometimes even a hug. This person has the gift of welcome. This gift is not for her alone, it is for the whole community. I wonder if you know someone like her. This person, he loves to do things for other people. Sometimes that's baking cookies. Sometimes it's visiting people who are sick. Sometimes it's taking care of the church. He has the gift of service. His gift is not just for him alone, but for everyone, for the whole community. I wonder if you know someone like him. This person asks lots of good questions. They're always thinking up questions that make other people think. They ask a lot of questions about the world, about things that are hard, sometimes about things that are good, sometimes just curious. This person has the gift of questions. Their gift, though, is not just for themselves, it's for the whole community. I wonder if you know someone like this. This person loves to sing. They love to write songs and perform songs and sing songs. They love teaching songs, and they love bringing people together in song. This person has the gift of music. And their gift is not just for them alone, but for the whole community. I wonder if you know someone like this. This person doesn't know what their gift is. Sometimes sometimes they feel alone because it seems like everyone else has lots of gifts and they don't know what their gift is. They're going to look in their heart. They're going to ask God. And all the people who love them, their community, their families, are going to help them find their gift. This person is still looking for their gift. I wonder if you know someone like this. One day, the community decided they wanted to have a big party. They wanted to bring people from all over, different faiths, different cities, different people who spoke different languages, people from all over. They wanted to bring all these people together to have fun and to work for peace. This person said, I'm going to welcome every person who walks in the door. This person said, I'll set up the tables and bake some cookies. This person said, I'll think up some good questions to help us get to know each other and to think of how we can make the world a little better. This person said, I have a song about peace. I will teach everyone and we can sing together. This person didn't know what they would bring to the party, so they thought about it for a while. And while they were thinking about it, somebody else from the community made invitations, another person sent them out, another person arranged for more food to be brought in, and everyone in the community brought their gifts, the things that they were good at, the things they felt led to share to the party. Well, about a week before the party, this person said, I have a game that I can bring and I can teach everyone. It's a game where no one loses and we all work together and have fun. So they did. And the community came to know that this person's gift was about fun and laughter and bringing people together in that way. Our community has all the gifts that we need. And if we care for each other, and we see each other, and we listen to each other, we can hear, we can see, we can recognize the gifts that we each have, the gifts that God has given us. Our community has all the gifts that we need. Thank you, God. Would you guys like to wonder with me? Yeah. I wonder which part of this story you liked the best. Anyone can answer. Yes.
I liked the part where each gift isn't just for that person, but it's meant to be shared with the whole community.
That each gift is not just for us, but for the whole community. Yes. I wonder what you liked the best. You liked the time when they were all working together to make the party happen? Yeah, that was really great. I wonder where you see yourself in this story. Maybe you have a gift that was mentioned. Maybe you have a different gift. I wonder where you see yourself in this story. I wonder. I wonder. What was that, Gideon? You're still looking for your gift?
And I know you, Gideon, and I think actually one of your gifts is asking.
One of the gifts is asking the questions. Yeah. You ask some good questions, Gideon. You ask a lot of questions. Many of them are very good.
And I like that sometimes our community can help us know what our gifts are.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Gideon, so I know he's good at asking questions.
And that's so important to have for us all to care for each other and to see those gifts, those different gifts in each of us, and recognize them. I wonder if there's any gifts in this community that we have seen or recognized, lifted up, or maybe ones that we would like to do so now? I know we've got some gifts of teaching. Yes.
We had a service here, a memorial service not long ago, and one of the gifts of that person, Bill Williams, who used to come here, one of his gifts, great gifts, was of naming other people's gifts.
The gift of naming other gifts, yes.
Recognizing them and loving them.
Yes. Any other wonderings or thoughts? Yes.
I wonder if it is important to not only use your gift to care for your community, but also use it to care for yourself.
Yes, that is so important. To use your gift to care for yourself as well as for your community. Thank you. Yes.
I think another gift that maybe we all can nurture in ourselves is recognizing the gifts that other people have, or the contributions that other people have. And I think especially with kids, sometimes we have ideas about what they ought to be like. We don't step back and recognize the beautiful parts of them that are.
Not have expectations about what gifts should be, but recognizing what is present, particularly in children.
It helps them start to recognize
Other gifts, yes, thank you. Well, let's keep wondering together as we continue our service. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Money's dandy and we like to use it, but love is better if you're open to it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it, so spread it all around the world. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. So let's go dancing to the break of day, and if there's a piper we can pay. For love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Let's do it one more time. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Thank you.
The first story is called When God Made You. I love this page. I have to show you all this color. Isn't that beautiful? When God made you. You. When God made you. God made you all shiny and new, an incredible you, a you all your own, a you unlike anyone else ever known. An exclusive design. One God refined. You're perfectly crafted, one of a kind. Because when God made you, somehow God knew that the world needed someone exactly like you. You, God thinks about you. God was thinking of you long before your debut. From the very beginning, amid history and time, you little one never left God's mind. God imagined your eyes, your head's shape, and its size, and knew what you'd look like when you felt surprised. God pictured your nose and all 10 of your toes. The sound of your voice, God had it composed. The lines on your hands, your hair, every strand, God knew every detail like it was all planned. Out of billions of faces, all cultures, all races, people God made from all different places. God knew your name. Your picture is framed. God's family without you would just not be the same. Because when God made you, this much is true. The world got to meet who God already knew. You. When God sees you, God delights in what is and sees only what's true. That you, yes, you, in all of your glory, bring color and rhythm and rhyme to God's story. So be you. Fully you. A show-stopping review. Live your life in full color, every tint, every hue. Discover, explore, have faith, but love more. Learn and relearn all that God made you for. Use your talents and your passions, those gifts that God fashioned. Think up ideas and then put them into action. Because God loves you creating. Your true self displaying when light on the inside through art is portraying. When you make believe, the stories conceived, the heroics, the magic, those tricks up your sleeve. When you dance alone, like a spinning cyclone, being whoever, whatever in a world all your own, God smiles, and here's why. In the spark of your eye, a familiar reflection shines bright from inside. Because when God made you and the world rude and odd, in heaven they called you an image of God. You. When God dreams about you, God dreams about all that in you will be true. That you, God's you, will be hopeful and kind. A giver who lives with all heart, soul, and mind. A dreamer who dreams in big and small themes. One who keeps dreaming in journeys upstream. A mover, a shaker, a lover of nature. A builder of bridges, you, the peacemaker. A you who views others as sisters and brothers. And lives by 3 words: love one another. Let's say it together. Love one another. Oh, if we could all just do that, huh? That would be be a good gift from all of us, wouldn't it? A confident you, strong and brave too. You being you is God's dream coming true. What a thought that is. Because when God made you, all of heaven was beaming, smiling. Over you, God was smiling and already dreaming. Think of all those gifts that were mentioned. Rachel talked about gifts, lots of gifts in that story.
Second story. And this one is called Maybe God is Like That Too. I live in the city. That's a cityscape. Where the sidewalks and subway cars and buildings and buses are packed with people, but I have never seen God before. Grandma, does God live in the city? I asked one morning at breakfast. Oh yes, God is here, she says. You just need to know where to look. Whenever you see love, joy, and peace, God is there, she said, stirring her tea. Wherever there's patience, kindness, and goodness, God is there too. When you see faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, that's where you see God. On the way to school, I'm on the lookout. I see a bus full of tourists, and I count 10 bright yellow taxis. I spy a man sweeping a stoop, and Grandma and I laugh when we see a tiny dog wearing a fluffy purple sweater. At school, Grandma hands me my lunch and hugs me close before she says goodbye. That's what love looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. On the swings, I pump so hard that I can see up over the alley. My friends shout, higher, higher, as my feet fly way up into the sky. That's what joy looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. Outside, car horns blast, sirens scream, but my classroom is nice and quiet. That's what peace looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. I try to tie my shoes, but the laces tangle around my fingers. Darn laces. My teacher sits down beside me and shows me how to tie them. That's what patience looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. On the way home, I see a doorman at an apartment wearing a red cape. He's holding the door for a man using a wheelchair. The man moves very slowly, and the doorman chats with him and smiles. That's what kindness looks like to me. You know, maybe God is like that too. When I'm setting the table for dinner, there's a knock at the door. It's our neighbor from downstairs, bringing us a loaf of bread. It's golden brown and warm and wrapped in a thin white towel. That's what goodness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. After dinner, I work on my homework while Grandma stands at the kitchen sink washing dishes, just humming to herself like she does every single night. That's what faithfulness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. At bedtime, Grandma sits at the edge of my bed, singing me a lullaby and stroking my head. She tucks my blankets up close around me. That's what gentleness looks like to me. I bet God is like that to me. I lie in bed, watching the curtains flutter. I want to talk about that dog we saw today and how high I can swing, but Grandma says that once I'm tucked in, I have to stay in bed until morning. I close my eyes and I try to fall asleep. Maybe that's what self-control looks like to me, and maybe that's what God looks like too. I saw God over and over again today whenever I saw love, joy, and peace, and whenever there was patience, kindness, and goodness. When I saw faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, I saw God's Spirit at work. I don't see God the way I see my friends, or the streetlights, or the river, but I see signs of God's Spirit all around me, right here in the city. I know what God is like, and maybe I can be like that too. And that all comes from a particular Bible verse. This is the very end, it sounds a little Bible-y. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Holy God, hear our prayers of our hearts, prayers of our community. As we lift these prayers up, bring them out into the world, surround those who need love and healing with your holy light. Lift up those of wow and awe, of thanks and celebration, and spread that joy and love out among our world. God, thank you for the many gifts that we recognize here in our community, the many gifts that each of us hold dear inside, and help us see them and celebrate them and nurture them, being faithful with your love. Amen. Okay, we're going to sing together before our closing song, This Little Light of Mine. And I invite you to stand up, and you can dance if you want. The lyrics are in your bulletin. Before we start this song, let's go over just a few little hand motions. This is your little light. Your little light. This little light of mine. You can all around the world, or however you want to do it. You won't let anyone it out. I won't let anyone it out. Hide it under a bushel? No! Hide it under a bushel? No! Okay. Let's have some fun with this. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Won't let anyone it out. Won't let anyone it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Won't let anyone it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Won't let anyone it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel? No! Hide it under a bushel? No! I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel? No! I'm gonna let it shine. little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you, friends. So taking your light, your many gifts, and letting them shine out into the world, may that be so. Finding what is special in you, how God has designed you in that unique and beautiful way. We recognize our gifts of each other. We recognize our gifts inside. And may that be our gift to each other, is seeing each other, nurturing each other, lifting each other up. So I offer that as our benediction up as you go out into the world this week. Think about what your gifts are and how you might offer them to the world. And listen and look for the gifts of others and see how you can lift those up and nurture those around you. Let us close as we began with our song. Let it go, my love, my truest love. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, and such a fine thing. We're a gathering of spirits. We're a festival of friends, and we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. I can't explain it, couldn't if I tried, how the only things we carry are the things we hold inside, like a day out in the open, like a love we won't forget, like the laughter that we started and hasn't died down yet. Let it go, my love, my truest love. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, and such a fine thing. We're a gathering of spirits. We're a festival of friends, and we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. Oh yeah, didn't we? Don't we make it shine? And aren't we in the middle of something rare and fine? Some glow like the embers, some like colored glass, and some give it all in one great flame, throwing kisses as they pass. Let it go, my love, my truest love. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, and such a fine thing. We're a gathering of spirits. We're a festival of friends, and we'll pick up where we left off when we all meet again. Yes, we'll pick up where we left off when we all